All right. Great to see everybody. With the first round pick there, 32nd pick in the draft, the last pick actually, and we were able to draft Josh Simmons from Ohio State. He's a left tackle. He played left tackle there and at San Diego State before transferring there. So Josh, we felt was a phenomenal athlete. Would have been a higher pick, obviously, if he hadn't been hurt. Rick Burkholder has done a bunch of work on him, and he's in a good place. He had a patellar tendon injury to his left knee, and then it's healed well. He's gone through all the rechecks that he's been required to do, and we'll just see where it goes from there, whether he does a rookie minicamp or not. We'll just see once he gets here what he can do there. But he's done well. Those are normally 6-month or so injuries, and he's right about that time out, so from being injured. And within that, we also got a 5th-round pick with a trade with Philly, and so it worked out well there. Worked out well for Philly. They got the player they wanted. We got the player we wanted, and we also had a nice pick added to the mix, in which we didn't have a 5th-round pick. So that I thought that was a good pickup by Brett. But I thought Brett and his guys did a great job there of working that.
Andy, when do you see him ready to go? I mean, training camp, is that a reasonable?
He'll definitely be ready for training camp. Yeah, but he'll be able to do some stuff up until then. Before that.
How important was the visit that he had here, as far as both the medical side and also just getting to know the kid and the maturity side?
Yeah, Matt, we had a chance to bring him here. We met with him at the combine. So we had that visit with him, and we brought him up here for one of the 30 visits. Had a good visit with him there. Had a Zoom visit with him, a couple different Zoom visits with him. So as late as yesterday. So again, just to make sure we were doing our homework there. But
Coach, what did you really
felt
see?
Comfortable. We felt comfortable with it.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. What did you really see lacking in the lineman area that makes you think Josh Simmons could really close the gap there and be a good fit for the team if he's able to get healthy?
Yeah, I think what you heard from the guys announcing this thing was true. I mean, he would have been top 5 or 10 pick, and so it's a position that we can use some good players at. I mean, just an addition of good players. You can't, and in particular at the left tackle spot, if and when he can jump in there and do that. So, and he's flexible where he can play any spot, but we felt like he was a true left tackle there.
Do you see him fitting in immediately at left tackle?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll just see where it goes. I mean, I tell you that Andy plays those guys all over the place, so we'll just try to find the 5 best and get him in there going. But I feel like he can go in there. Again, the kid that we picked up in the free agency, he can play right or left too. So we've got some flexibility there.
Were you a little surprised he was there as the draft was unfolding?
Yeah. I figured there might be a chance having coming off an injury, but I think when as you guys get to know him a little bit and the time that you have to study and talk to other people about him, that you're gonna find out he's like really a super athlete, and that's where we were a little bit nervous whether he'd be there or not be there. Yeah.
What is it about his style and traits that fit what you like to do and with the offensive line?
Yeah, well, I think he's good in the run and the pass game. But obviously you're looking for guys that can anchor down in the pass game. And that becomes important, especially on the left side with a right-handed quarterback. And we have such good players that we go against that play that defensive end spot that I think it's important that you get you find a guy that can do that.
Speaking, it seems like you guys have 3 good tackles now. It's fair to say that that'll be just sorted out based upon training camp.
Yeah, I think that's a positive thing.
Coach, you're going to see probably lots of this happening as you move forward with guys playing in different schools, different levels, and things like this. What did you see from this kid as he moved up from a lower level of football to Big Ten as he progressed?
Yeah, bigger school, more pressure, gets better competition, and there are a couple things there when you look at that. The fact that he actually made that transfer, and that's a tough decision somewhere he had to make. Like, there's got to be a little trust in your ability. You go from San Diego State to Ohio State, and then he gets there and he starts for 2 years. So that tells you that he's got ability, and skill, and he was able to show that there.
You said it sounded like you met with him a lot. What did you learn about him as a person just throughout this process?
Yeah, he's a good kid, and I think the thing you saw when he moved from San Diego State to Ohio State was just that's a little bit more of a pro style at Ohio State and the verbiage and all that. And you saw where he got better with all of that as time went on. And so we were able to get in and kind of introduce him to our offense and see if he could handle that going forward. And it was very similar to some of the things that Ohio State were doing. And so it looked like it would fit pretty good there. But I think that's a big jump, though. I think when you make that move.
Just to the extent you're willing to share, I mean, obviously you guys do medical evaluations on all players. What extra work do you have to do for the player? What are you guys able to do with Josh to ensure that he...
Yeah, so the league does the rechecks. So, you're getting the check at the combine, then they do a recheck. And then you bring him in here and you can look at him. So, we've got a pretty good idea of where he's at. I mean, does he have to go out and do it? Yeah, he's got to go out and do it, but it's not one of those where you're looking at it going, hey, it's a problem. Either a bad surgery or he just hasn't been working it. I mean, all of that's, he's been doing all the above. The doctor did a nice job with it up to this point, so it looks like he's in pretty good shape that way.
We'll go across the room to close it out. Go ahead.
Me?
Yep.
Oh, thank you. So, Coach, with that trade, you got a 5th-round pick, if I'm not mistaken. I know it's a couple days away. What are you going to think about, or what's going to go into the process of figuring out what to do to make the best of that extra draft pick you have now?
Yeah, we'll try to make it a good one. That's where you go with it. We didn't have a 5th-round pick, so just the fact that you give Brett Veach an extra pick, that can be a positive thing. He normally does very well in those rounds there, those mid rounds, late rounds. He's had a lot of success, so you give him another shot at it, and to bring in a good player.
Did he get another golf clap for the trade down?
Yeah, that was good.
What was that like the last few years, trying to find that solution at left tackle, particularly last year when you had to go through so many guys? What was that like for you?
Yeah, it's one that we thought we would spend a 1st-round pick on. That it'd be worth it, and then also look at it in free agency. So we've got a couple answers there where we don't have to take a guard and move them out to that spot, or hopefully, right? Hopefully, keep these guys healthy and rolling and learning. So.
Coach, with the patellar tendon injuries, it can kind of sometimes go both ways. We've seen players that they're never the same after it. I think Brandon Graham had one with you in Philadelphia, and obviously went on to a great career. What's the comfort level that this kid is going to be completely okay for?
Yeah, so when you talk ACLs, you talk patellar tendon surgery. ACLs normally take about 9 months. Patellar tendons normally take about 6 months. Same risk, though, that you're looking at there. And we've had success with patellar tendons. Going back as far as Carell Buckholder and his injury. So I was able to come back and play as a running back. So Rick's got a pretty good feel on that. Our docs have a good feel on it. And, we thought it looked like it was a good surgery. Now, he's got to get out and play football, too. So we'll see from there. I'm not... But where we're sitting, the experts would tell you that it looks good.
Last one, Darren.
Coach, it seemed like Patrick kind of, I guess, via Twitter approved of what was your conversation with him prior to this pick? And do you feel like coming out of the Super Bowl, you've addressed your biggest need coming out of that game?
Yeah, so Patrick doesn't miss anything. He loves the draft. He puts his own draft board together, I think, and spends time at it. I mean, he enjoys doing that. So he knew about this kid, and obviously, I mean, as many good linemen as you can bring in, he'll be happy with that. You know, that's how he is. But he doesn't miss a beat with all that.
But
And
he's
then-
not coming out of the Super Bowl, you address your.
Well, no, I mean, listen, we've got a full draft ahead of us, and what you're trying to do is build strength within your players, your team. And so if somebody does get banged up, you've got that another player, but also you create competition. And competition makes us all better, and that's the thing Adam's going to miss the most when he retires.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you, Coach.
All right,
Adam and
good.
cheeseburgers.
That's right.